Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Ragdah Mardiyah and I'm a student from 4th semester from Win Sharif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. I'd like to give a short review of the 10 articles that I've read so far. So, first, the 10 articles that I've read so far have been categorized into two, which is first, teaching methodology and ICT. And I'll be giving the purpose and the finding of each articles that I'm going to share. And then first article would be about integrative task-based learning, developing speaking skill and increasing motivational via Instagram by Nurul Afifa binti Azlan, Sakinah binti Zakaria, and Melor MD Yunus. And the purpose of the research is to improve the speaking skill of the Malaysian students. The research was aimed to discover the potential use of the integrating Instagram features and task-based learning activities to develop the speaking skill and identify the level of pupils' motivation. The writer wishes to develop the different way in developing speaking skill by using Instagram as a tool of motivational for others. And the finding of the research shows that the integration of Instagram with the task-based language activities have positive impact. And in conclusion, the cooperating of Instagram and task-based learning activities are aligned with the needs of the 21st century's learning and teaching strategies, together with the potential to engage and motivate pupils in developing their speaking skills. And the second article is about effective approaches to teaching listening, Chinese EFL Teacher's Perspective, written by Wang Li and Willie R. Renandia. The purpose of the research is to examine the approaches considered effective by EFL teachers in solving their learners' major listening difficulties. And the finding of the research shows that the EFL teachers agree into one argument, and as the result seems to lend support to the argument that enhancing the EFL learners' bottom-up processing competence is perhaps the first thing that needs to be addressed to help the EFL learners build a solid linguistic foundation before they move to on a learning that are more advanced, which is learning skills. Third, the approaches to the teaching of writing skills by Blanka Fridrikova Klimova. And the purpose of the research is to discuss the two approaches of writing skills, which are process approach and the product approach. And the finding shows that most of the students, 11 out of 14, has sufficient B2 level of English according to CEFR. Two students have C1 level of English, one student have B1 level of English. And in conclusion, the study shows both approaches to teaching of students' writing skills are equal. Student grasp of writing is more dependent on their level of English. Next is about investigating the problems faced by the teachers in developing English writing skills by Hafiz Ahmad Bilal, Abdurrahman Tariq, Nuruddin Hamid Latif, and Nadim Anju. And the research purpose of it is to highlight the problems which hinder the teachers in developing English writing skills. And the finding of it is at the intermediate level, most of the students have poor English language background. Poor A/V8s are not available to the teachers, classes are overcrowded, and a few other more. The conclusion is that writing skills developing is so slow and gradual process, and many factors involved disturbing teaching and learning process of English writing skills. The next is using strategic writing techniques for promoting EFL writing skills and attitude by Muhammad A. Okasha and Sami A. Hamdi. The purpose. So the purpose of this research is to investigate the effectiveness of the strategic writing technique for promoting EFL writing skills and changing passive attitudes toward writing into positive ones. And the finding of the research is teachers should focus on teaching writing in English language as a process, not as a product, and there's a need for using new techniques for providing feedbacks. So the student EFL writing such as peer review, writing conference, and self-correction and other more findings. So the conclusion is that writing process is more important to focus in rather than the product itself. And next is applying the silent way in teaching Japanese language to university students in Taiwan. Written by Abol Fazl Shirban Sashi, Tashinari Haga, and Heng Yu Chen. And the purpose of the research is to investigate the feasibility of applying the silent way in teaching Japanese in Taiwanese university students. And the finding of the research shows that even though a short period of implementation, we can see some positive effect after applying the silent way, and it shows that the silent way can be used in teaching Japanese sound and vocabulary, and that the effect for both female and males seems to be the same. Next is about grammar translation and direct method in teaching English in the educational institution with specific conditions of study, written by Olena B. Shenderuk, Olha L. Tamarkina, and Tetiana P. Pernarivaska. The purpose of the research is solving the problem with the help of differentiating approaching teaching English to students and candidates, facilitates high qualitative changes, and it is clearly stated in the article. And the finding of the research is that the result did not prove the first hypothesis, but instead it demonstrated that there are no significant difference in the chosen methods. And next would be about developing communicative English language tests for tourism vocational high school students, written by Nenggah Astawa, Ida Bagus Nyoman, and Ida Ayu Metsri Widya Stuti. The objective of the research is to decrease the testing difficulty and the obstacle encountered by the teachers in tourism vocational high school by providing them a set of communicative language tests. And the finding is that the teachers are more interested in how the students use their knowledge and language in a communicative way rather than demonstration of knowledge is in isolation. The next would be about the ICT. Teachers' effect on ICT use in education, the Turkey sample by Erdogan Tesci. So the purpose of the research is to determine the teacher's influence in the use of information and communication technologies in schools, which is ICT, and various variables are examined such as years of experiments, gender, and the duration of the computer and internet use, and to determine the level of knowledge on the frequency of ICT use among teachers. And the finding shows or can be summarized under 6 headings, which are the level of knowledge on the use of ICT, independent variables related to knowledge and use of ICT, attitude toward the internet and computers, the correlation between attitude and the independent variables. The result also shows that most commonly used and well-known ICT types among teachers are the internet, email, word processing, and the teacher's attitude toward computers and the internet are very generally positive. It was also found that their attitudes vary with their years of experiments and level of understanding or knowledge. And the last would be implementation of active learning for ICT education in schools, written by Saikat Goswami, Muhammad Sofriuddin, and Maisha Roson Islam. And the purpose of the research was aimed to explore the implementation of information and communication technology education at primary and secondary levels in education, which is the ICT, of course. The goal of the research is to know how to ensure the best implementation of ICT in the education, how to ensure the best use of it in the classroom, and how to help the teachers, students, parents, and also all the relevant bodies to cope with the system, which was obviously clearly stated in the research. And the finding shows that the teachers and the students give good review, which proves that they are ready to adopt the new technology and adopt or getting used to it. And that's the end of my review of the articles. Thank you so much for paying attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.